Hello, hello, hello. This is Gresh from the I Am CEO podcast, and I have two very special guests on the show today. I have Anastasia and Tomer of Generation Nomads. Anastasia and Tomer, it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Great to be here.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, super excited to have you both on. And before we jumped into the interview, I want to read a little bit more about Anastasia and Tomer so you can hear about all the awesome things that they're doing. And Anastasia and Tomer are money mindset and startup coaches and the creators of the blog Generation Nomads.co. Having reached financial independence under 30 through real estate and stock investments, they left their cushy corporate careers to travel the world for 18 months without working or touching their savings. Before founding Generation Nomads, Anastasia worked as a new product development consultant, and Tomer worked as an IT project manager in Fortune 500 companies. Combined, Anastasia and Tomer have over 10 years of experience in mentoring startups and scale-ups in various industries and managing over USD $1 million digital innovation and IT implementation projects. On Generation Nomads, they have garnered a monthly readership of 15,000 from over 170 countries, and their freedom framework is used to teach millennials how to design and reach a freedom lifestyle. And in the 9-to-5 escape plan program, they help their clients create and acquire passive income assets, and they live in one of their favorite cities in the world, Amsterdam, the Netherlands. And from Amsterdam, they work with aspiring entrepreneurs in the 9-to-5 escape plan coaching program. Anastasia and Tomer, great to have you on the show. You ready to speak to the IMCO community?
Absolutely.
Yes.
We're super excited. Thanks for introducing us.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you for doing all the great work. That makes it a lot easier. So I know I touched on it a little bit, but I wanted to hear a little bit more on what I call your CEO story. We'll let you get started with all the awesome work you're doing.
Thanks. Yeah, absolutely. I think our story is from our personal transformation, but also our story as new entrepreneurs started 3 years ago. It was approximately that on the day I actually quit my job when I got my biggest promotion yet. So it was something that, started the doors to our, following dreams that we have been postponing for quite a while. So at that moment in time, you were mentioning it a little bit in your introduction, I was working in innovation in a Fortune 500 company. I was working with startups. Tomer was an IT project manager, also in innovation spaces. And at that moment in time, we felt like we have been really working on dreams of others, right? So we have been putting our own dreams a little bit further down the bucket list and the to-do list. So we always wanted to travel. We wanted to be entrepreneurs, do our own thing, be our own bosses, follow our passions and creative ideas. But there was always something that seemed to get into the way, whether it was a promotion, whether it was, things going on in work or life that felt like it was never the right time. So at some point, we really sat down with ourselves and we thought about, well, if not now, when would be the right moment to do all those amazing things that we wanted to do, like travel? We always wanted to write, to start our own online business. And we just couldn't figure out when would be the next better moment to really pursue all those things. So, and back then, again, I take you back to the day that I quit my job. The day I got my biggest promotion yet, we left both of our corporate careers, so our 6-figure income, and we went traveling. So we went on a one-way ticket to Singapore, and for the next 18 months, we've been traveling to over 25 countries, and at the same time, we've been building up our online business and our blog, which then evolved into our coaching program, etc. So this is a little bit of our story, and I think it comes down to really finally going after our passions.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. They always say there's never a perfect time to kind of do anything. So once you realize that, you can kind of get those balls rolling and just kind of take the bull by the horn, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's something we totally believe in. I mean, if you wait for the right timing, you might wait forever.
Yeah, well, they say a lot of times people are waiting for the perfect time to kind of, fire, and it's ready, aim, and they never ever take action. So it's so important to kind of take that action and then kind of move forward from there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. So I wanted to drill down a little bit more, hear a little bit more about your coaching program, all the awesome things you're doing at the blog and everything. Could you take us through a little bit more on how you're working with the clients you serve?
Yes. So our mission, so what we set ourselves for our business, and it evolved over time. So from the moment when Anastasia was mentioning, when we left, we were not yet having exactly our mission in mind, but it took us like some time during the travel and everything. So our mission now is to help aspiring digital nomad entrepreneurs to turn their ideas, dreams into reality. So how do we do that? We have our blog where we, of course, share a lot of information, a lot of our experiences, a lot of our tips and things that we have learned both in our experience working in corporate and in our experience working with clients now, working on our own business. So we share all that on our blog. And also next to that, we have our book, The Freedom Project, which walks through how to look inside of yourself, find out what you have inside of you that you can use in order to create your business, and then coming up with an idea and validating it to finding your first customer. So that's like a journey that we walk through in a book with exercises and templates and so forth. And on top of that, we have our program, the 9 to 5 Escape Plan, and that's where we go with the group. So it's a group program, and there we, similarly to the book, we walk from looking inside and creating your idea and launching your idea, but also we look also into passive income opportunities, which is something that we are very passionate about, to have multiple sources of income. And finally, we also have one-on-one coaching that we also do, and that's more custom per the situation of each person.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that. And definitely the different levels and ways by which people can connect with you and work with you, because I think so many times, you can only like read somebody's book, you can only do the group programs, or you can only do the one-to-one. There's only like one option. But I think because people kind of learn and they kind of retain information in so many different ways, I love kind of like the full lay of the land that you have with everything that you can do to kind of serve the clients you work with.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's something that we've developed, of course, over time. So it's not something we did
on day one.
But it's something that we also noticed that because we are, I mean, our mission again is to help aspiring digital nomads live their freedom lifestyle, as we call it. So to really be able to do the things that they want, and we want to be able to serve as many people as possible and to just provide that value. So therefore, we also have different options in different ways. And I mean, of course, reading a book is different than having a one-on-one person looking with you and working together with you, but still you can get started with it. So that's indeed to be able to serve more people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the alignment of everything too, and how that gets to the word freedom, which is such a powerful word. And I think especially when you have gifts, you have skills, you have talents, as you kind of talked about in the beginning, of being able to kind of use those talents to propel whatever your mission and vision is absolutely huge. And have the freedom and the tools by which to do that just takes everything to a next level, it sounds like.
Yeah, right. So I think that's also what makes us and what we're offering unique, because we're not only helping people to become entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, but we actually put that word of freedom before that. So we help them to become freedompreneurs. And what that means is we're looking at the different assets that you have within you and have available to your, disposal, which are your time, your ideas, your superpowers that you have within you, but maybe also the salary that you currently have in your 9-to-5 income that you want to replace with your own, passion business. But how to use that in order to create more freedom in your life? So how to accelerate your path to freedom, how to really set up your business in a way that feels aligned with your personal ambitions, with your creativity, with your passions, and how you can get started with what you already have. So how can you do that in small, consistent steps that you can take already from today, and not only waiting until you have XYZ figured out, until you can take the first step, but really use what you already have to take, the next right step into the right direction. So it's really about working towards or walking in the right direction versus waiting for the best moment that you can suddenly have it all magically figured out. So we're saying, no, there are already ways to create freedom in your life right now, and you can leverage that to also embed freedom in the business that you're building up.
Yeah, that's huge. I love that word freedompreneurs and that secret sauce, because I think so many times, as you said so well, that we're always looking outward to try to figure out what do we need to add in so that we can get to that next level. But realizing that you already have gifts, opportunities, things that you can leverage within is so huge and empowering and freeing as well too, because you get to say, okay, what can I do and how can I take one step towards where I ultimately want to be? And it starts to become more of a marathon than just like a flip of the switch and then you have everything in place, which rarely ever happens.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice. And so I wanted to switch gears a little bit, and I want to ask you for what I call a CEO hack. So this could be like an app, a book, or a habit that you have, but what's something that makes you more effective and efficient?
Yeah, so maybe to build upon the notion of freedom and something that we have realized for ourselves, and then we also see with some of our clients, is the very often people pursue entrepreneurship or pursue starting their own business because they want to have this freedom. They want to be their own boss. They want to do what they want on their own schedule. But what very often happens is that you get so sucked up into your business, and you end up working so hard and working every time towards the next goal that you kind of lose that initial thing of that you actually were seeking more freedom, and freedom to spend more time with your family, or do have some hobbies and things like this. So what we realize is that the focus is to have multiple sources of income. So it's great to start your own business, online business, but also know what to do with the income that you're getting there, or even before then, as Anastasia mentioned before. So the income that you're getting from there, how can you use that in order to create more sources of income? So like a resource or something, a book that we definitely recommend every entrepreneur to read, or anybody to read, but definitely somebody who is pursuing to be an entrepreneur, is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, which is, I think, sort of the fundamental book to pursuing multiple sources of income or pursuing passive income. And again, I think that's something that is definitely essential for every entrepreneur, because you want to have the freedom. You don't want to be worried about making money in your business all the time. You want to be able to work in your business and focus on creating value, and not have this pressure or stress of chasing money, but have that freedom through multiple sources of income. So that's something that we definitely would advise every entrepreneur.
Yeah, and that's so huge, and I think that's a phenomenal, hack and a phenomenal book, obviously as well too. But I loved how you said that a lot of times, we start our business, and that's a very strong why that we have in our mind of this is why I'm doing it, and it's somewhere along the lines you lose sight of that. You become more of a, for lack of a better term, a prisoner sometimes to what you were starting to be free. And I think if we don't, remind ourselves of that and kind of lose sight of that in creating those multiple streams and opportunities to generate revenue, then we can become in a more stressful and sometimes more frustrating job that we built for ourselves, because we're just beholden to that one stream of income. So I love that. Obviously, you mentioned that book, but I also love all the work that you do to help people to know that, because I think so many times people don't know and aren't sure on how to execute on creating those multiple streams.
Yes, exactly. And especially that they already have assets within them that they can use to do that. So often people think that they need to first save up a lot of money, or they need to first figure out the entire business before they can automate different streams within their business, or they cannot work out different product packages or different ways of making money to leverage, different business models. And we are coming in and saying you can already do so many different things with small efforts, and you can get them all started, and they will compound over time and accumulate, really, to create that freedom and to create those multiple income streams that will then sustain you in a more freedom-based way.
Yeah, that's huge. And being able to kind of have that, I call it like a marathon mindset and understanding of it doesn't happen overnight. That's why I appreciate you highlighting too that, the programs and everything you have in place didn't happen on day one. It's something that you built in over time, because people don't realize that. And I appreciate you for reminding people of that.
Yeah, and I mean, it is definitely a sort of a mindset shift, like to also know that it's all incremental, small steps. It's all just compounding eventually to something great. I mean, there is that saying that I don't remember who said it, but every overnight success took some years to do to create. I don't remember exactly how it said, but it's something like that. So every overnight success takes a few years to be an overnight success.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think a secret to the overnight success is it takes 10 years. And if you don't know who said it, then I'll take the credit for it. So that's completely fine. So I wanted to ask you now for what I call a CEO nugget. So this could be a word of wisdom or piece of advice. It might be something you would tell a client, or if you hopped into a time machine, you might tell your younger business self.
Yeah, so I think here we would love to pick up again what you were calling, and I love this. I love this phrase, the marathon mindset. And just to remember as a nugget, every entrepreneur, every aspiring entrepreneur that might be listening to this episode, that they can achieve anything they want in any given amount of time. So often I think what characterizes us as entrepreneurs is that we're big dreamers. So we would not be, entrepreneurs and dreaming for setting up our passion business, our freedom business, our big success if we were not for the dreams that are actually motivating us. However, the road to success, the road to achieving our dreams is never straightforward. It's never a linear path. It is always coming with challenges, with setbacks, with moments when you feel like you're walking even backwards or you're standing still, right? So in these moments, as a nugget, we would just love to remind everyone out there that things don't happen over time, and the results that you have had in the past, or the achievements that you had in the past, do not dictate, or the setbacks that you had in the past that do not dictate what is possible for you, and that they do not define your potential, but instead to remind yourself that actually you get at any given moment exactly how much you can handle. So every journey is different, and only because you are not reaching the goal that you set yourself to reach does not mean that you're not making progress. And actually, it could be that you're not reaching the goal that you set yourself just because you're right now learning the things that you need to learn to double actually your speed in the future, or get to things that you cannot even envision. So our goals are always limited to what we think is possible. And I think a nugget to suggest is to allow in the possibility that actually that it's more possible, that your potential is greater than you can imagine, and that you can define by the goals. So I think something to share.
Yeah, that's huge. And I think it just reminds me, there used to be like an image that I had of a kid that always would hold up this, white paper, and he always said, think bigger, whatever you're thinking, think bigger. And I love how you talked about, the dreaming and being able to kind of see sometimes farther than we can, see within ourselves. And I think that's at the heart and essence of entrepreneurship, is not taking the world as it is, but seeing how you want the world to be and being able to kind of create that. And I think understanding that, it doesn't happen overnight, as we kind of been talking about, but two, that it's not a straight path. Like anybody, most success stories you see and read, it looks like a plate of spaghetti where it's just literally everywhere. And there's stops, there's pitfalls, there's potholes, there's highs. It's all of that. And that's part of the journey. And I think when you can kind of lean into that, and as you both have said so well, being able to kind of take one step at a time, it leads you to being more likely to being and seeing that success come to fruition.
Yeah. So I love how you rephrase that indeed, and added that to it. So the spaghetti metaphor is like totally hitting it perfectly, because that's what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And it might be just because it's around lunchtime for me too. So that's probably what it is too. So I wanted to ask you now my absolute favorite question, which is the definition of what it means to be a CEO. And we're hoping to have different quote unquote CEOs on the show. So what does being a CEO mean to you?
So
No, go ahead.
Yeah, being a CEO for us is real. We've been talking a lot about freedom, right? And for us, being a CEO is having the freedom of choice, and that comes in two different, things that we like to distinguish. And one thing is the freedom to design your life and business in a way that feels aligned to you. So really do the things, work on things that you're passionate about. Define your schedule in a way that feels most aligned with, what gives you energy, or in a way that you can work in the most productive and energized and motivated way. But also the second part of freedom is choosing how you can share your unique superpowers with the world that will create the biggest impact. Because for us, being a CEO or being CEOs means really choosing how we want to contribute with our own talents, unique strengths, with our knowledge, experience, skill, interests, to create this value in the world. So for us, being CEO means creating freedom for us and creating value for others in a way that will also create freedom for them.
That's extremely powerful. And I think so many times we don't realize that when we step into our genius and step into our secret sauce, our superpower, whatever that is, not only does it sometimes, help us out and get us to where it is, but it also creates that domino effect where it also it reminds people, for one, that they can lean into their superpower. But also, I love what you all do and have those freedompreneurs, because it also creates that domino effect where other people now feel, that freedom. They understand that they have everything they need within, and they're able to kind of create the life that they hope to see and the vision that they have in the world.
Yeah, and I love the domino effect analogy, because that's what it is. When we're able, and it's us, but any entrepreneur, as speaking for entrepreneurs, when we're able to touch somebody's life, it will be multiplied so much more further, because those people, those clients, the students, the customers that you are working with, they will be touching other people's lives, and that will accumulate. And indeed, like spreading the message that you believe in is really showing the impact that you can create on a much bigger scale than you're directly in contact with. And that's something that is really energizing us and motivating us to continue spreading this notion of that you can create more freedom in your life.
Absolutely. It's definitely a beautiful thing. And especially to know that you don't have to go outside of yourself, for that to happen. So Anastasia and Tomer, truly appreciate that definition and perspective. And of course, all the awesome work that you do. What I wanted to do now is just pass the mic to you, so to speak, just to see if there's anything additional that you can let our readers and listeners know. And of course, how best they can get a hold of you and find out about all the awesome things you're working on.
Yeah, so we have on our blog actually a self-assessment, which we call the Freedom Business Quiz. So that's a short quiz that you go through, and then we assess based on your answer the 3 steps that you need to take in order to build your freedom business. So really based on your answer. So there's a couple of different ways, or a couple of different answers that you can fall on, and then we explain step by step the things that you can do. So that's something that might be interesting, and we can share the link in the show notes, I guess. And besides that, we are active on our Instagram at Generation Nomads. Our blog, we mentioned GenerationNomads.com, and we have also a Facebook group where people can also join.
Yeah, so the Facebook group is called Freedom Lifestyle Entrepreneurs. And if you're interested and excited to find out, as Tomer was describing, the 3 next steps to up-level your freedom business, if you're listening and wondering, how to get started, or maybe how to get your passion project, your side project to the next level, then you can find it in the link. So GenerationNomads.com, and then it's /my freedom business quiz. And between every word, you have a minus sign. But yeah, as Tomer mentioned, and Gresham, you will probably include that in the show notes. And so we're excited to connect with any aspiring freedompreneurs, and thank you so much for giving us the space to share about our mission and what we're working on.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you for creating the space for so many people to expire and to achieve that freedom. And we will definitely have the links and information in the show notes as well, too, just like you mentioned, so that everybody can click through and take the quiz. I think knowledge of self is one of the most important knowledges. So to be able to kind of take those quizzes puts you in that opportunity to kind of be successful. But appreciate you so much for the time and the work that you do. I think it's so, freeing and empowering to know that you don't have to go outside of yourself or do this or do that to really take that freedom and lean into your gifts and your talents and your skills. So appreciate you so much for the work you do. And I hope you have a phenomenal rest of the day.
Yeah, thank you so much. We really enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us, Gershon.